Welcome to US Tzu Chi 360. I'm Ginger Chang. Our feature today brings us to Central America. The devastation of natural disasters brought Tzu Chi volunteers to the tropical isthmus beginning in the 1990s, and since then, the love and support of Tzu Chi has remained till this present day. We have psychologist Peter Lin with us again to share with us his own experiences being out in the disaster field. Hello, Peter.
Hi.
So can you first tell us why did you decide to go on these missions?
I think there are many good reasons to go on those missions, but I think one of the main reasons why I would love to go is because there's many challenges in our life, and one of the main challenges in our life is actually to seek meaning and purpose. So by being on those relief missions, you really get to learn what life is about,
right.
And you can sort of use that experience and reflect on your own answer.
Well, as we will see in a few moments, our volunteers felt these same sentiments when they arrived to help out the flood disaster survivors in Guatemala. In recent times, Guatemala has been seen as a serene vacation destination. It is home to beautiful black sandy beaches, and its city of Antigua has been classified by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. But in October of 2011, Tropical 11E battered the country with torrential rainfall and produced a deluge of damage. Guatemala is a mountainous country, so much of the water flowed downhill and created bad flooding problems in the lower regions, where many of the poorest people dwell. These people now find themselves in a situation where they must face the disaster head-on.
When the water level rose above my calf, I began to get very nervous. Never in my life had I ever seen anything like this before. When that happened, I packed a few things and left, but I was most worried about the families here and wondered where they would find shelter.
For 19 days, people have stayed at the Monterrico school for shelter. Although the rain has stopped, we still need clean water. The people here depend on electric wells, but when the wells fill up, the water inside them becomes contaminated. Mosquitoes then breed in the water and bite people. 4 people have come down with the dengue fever, but I fear everyone will soon become sick. It's gotten a little better, but the people are still not able to work, so they aren't able to acquire supplies. Everything would be a lot easier if we could just get beans, corn, and some oil.
The cries for help did not go unanswered. Local Tzu Chi volunteers quickly arrived to assess the situation and determine the best way to help these people.
Usually, there are a few approaches that Tzu Chi uses for international disaster relief work. First, if there are local volunteers, they will approach the government or assess the situation personally at the scene. The other approach, for example, in Guatemala, we had one volunteer who started the movement locally. This is the most direct approach.
This year, San Rosa was struck by many disasters and they really needed our help. We went to the mayor. He knew we did a lot of distribution work in San Rosa and trusted our integrity and honesty in helping them. So he would work with us to tell us which area are most in need of help and the situation there. We will head there to assess the situation.
Tzu Chi volunteers decided that a food and supply distribution was an effective solution.
They will suggest a few suitable locations for us, and we will ask them for the best location to do our distribution work.
Bueno, en primer lugar, alimento, porque tienen que comer. Pero lo otro es también ver una evaluación de daños.
When we provide relief to an area, we first need to find a way to feed the people, usually with a distribution. Only then can we begin to figure out other things like rebuilding their homes. With Tzu Chi's blessings, we have made 5 food and supply distributions so far. When I think about my experience working with Tzu Chi, I like how they are organized and personally distribute with care and compassion. They are quick and also find a way to help the most needy families.
Y se entrega realmente la familia que lo necesita.
The space is pretty big to accommodate these people, but without the ceiling, if the weather is hot, the victims will be scorched when they are in line for a few hours. We need 2 entrances and exits so the flow of the crowd is more convenient.
Tzu Chi volunteers chose a warehouse in the town of Chiquimuya as their distribution site. After days of preparation, distribution was finally ready to begin. However, on the day of the distribution, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived to discover something that they hadn't anticipated.
When we got to the distribution site in Chiquimula, it was so crowded. We ushered them to walk upwards, village by village. I told them, if you don't listen to us, you will block the road, and we can't get out, which will take even longer. If there's a traffic jam in the middle, the cars can't get out.
This is slightly problematic as it reduces the safety of both the volunteers and the care recipients.
你赶快遵守这个次序的话，我们很快的嘛。
If you wait in line, in order, you will get your distributions very quickly, and you can go home early. So they listened and cooperated with us. From our last distribution in Baton, we ended our distribution to 2,650 families at 4:30 p.m. Altogether, there were over 200 local volunteers and Tzu Chi volunteers.
应该有180位，还有我们慈济人加起来有200多位，所以我们能够很顺利的完成这次发放，很快就把它完成了。
The distribution actually finished 3 hours ahead of time.
Because of their assistance, we had a very successful distribution. These volunteers helped the recipients to move their packages, which contained corn and black beans. There were 25 pounds of corn and 50 pounds of black bean in each bag, so we need young and strong volunteers to help carry them. The local Guatemalan volunteers helped us joyfully. They cheered and yelled out excitedly when they were volunteering, giving joy and blessings to each other.
La verdad uno toma expectativas de ver la oportunidad de poder colaborar y las personas que han sido afectadas por
I like how I can come here and be expected to help out. Although I am only able to help out in small ways, I am still happy to be able to work towards a greater cause. This is the reason why I am so happy to come and volunteer today.
nuestra vitalidad a poder dar la ayuda a los necesitados.
I knew there was going to be a lot to do, but I never imagined that I'd be helping so many people as well.
No creí que tanta.
I want to thank God, thank Him for bringing you all here to help because we have suffered much from the flood. All of our things got soaked, even the place we slept got wet. That is why we are so thankful to God for bringing you guys, who have helped us so much. God bless you who have come from far away. May He guide you on your way back, because God is the one who helps everyone. May He bless you all immensely. Yes, we all need the help here, because we have all suffered tremendously from the disaster.
They were really happy. The government and the local corporations seldom took the effort to care for the victims. Today, they were amazed at how a group of foreigners were willing to go all the way to help them. When they learned about the 5-penny bamboo donation story, they were touched and gave generously to the bamboo bank. We hope that we can bring Tzu Chi to their Chiquimula, for all of them to join us.
以后我们也可以把我们慈济带到他们的市，他们的吉吉姆利亚，他们慈济带到那个地方，我也很希望他们能够参与我们的慈济。
CNN reports Central America and the Caribbean are the most violent regions in the world. However, Master Zheng Yin believes bodhisattvas exist to relieve the suffering of mankind. So Peter, knowing there are times you're putting yourself in danger, how do you stay focused?
Now, I think as a Buddhist, we're trained to calm our mind in all situations. We remind ourselves that this is for others, not for yourself.
Then, from a psychological standpoint, what are some common problems that you've seen?
Basically, any emotional reaction in a disaster are normal. But the common signs are depression, grief, anxiety, and things like nightmares. The only thing you need to consider is when they get worse and worse and worse.
Okay, great. Well, in our next segment, we go to El Salvador to visit Tzu Chi's Great Love Village.
We're so poor, we can't afford anything. When the rain came, I thought I lost everything. I even thought my children were gone. This is all I managed to save. This box, these dishes, the rest is gone.
These stories are not rare in El Salvador, a predominantly Roman Catholic country in Central America. It's subject to both tectonic activity and severe weather conditions, such as hurricanes and flooding, a nightmare for a country whose main exports are agricultural, such as coffee and sugar. While the tectonic activity preserved El Salvador's Mayan historical past, it's a curse on the country's current population. A decade ago, 2 major earthquakes shattered families and left about 1/5 of the nation's population homeless.
We're here at Da'ai Village, located in Sacacoyo. 2001, after El Salvador's big earthquake, Master Zheng Yin worried about El Salvador and encouraged US Tzu Chi volunteers to complete disaster assessment and relief in this country. Determined to give them some permanent housing, we connected with other local organizations to create this village.
来缔造的这个慈济村。
Thank you to God, Tzu Chi, and the city mayor for helping to make this community a reality. With your help, a lot of families have gotten help and benefits.
Muchas familias también han tratado de mejorar y seguir adelante.
When the village was completed in 2002, we were a community full of volunteers. Because of Tzu Chi, they're able to help other people. We have an annual celebration dedicated to Tzu Chi on the anniversary of when residents here received their house keys.
Dedicado a la fundación y a la colonia.
The buildings have withstood the decade that passed, and the community shelters have provided shelter to families suffering from the recent floods. The El Salvadorian volunteers, remembering their own hardships, happily aid flood disaster relief efforts.
When they see the Tzu Chi uniform, they just very automatically hug us, warmly. It warms my heart, feeling like we're family. They started out being helped out, but bit by bit, they join in other volunteer activities. It makes them happy to experience the saying, it's better to give than to receive. Currently, every week we go with one of the rotating teams to give hot meals to the downtown homeless.
Because my income from recycling isn't enough to cover food, it helps a lot.
I like how you do the meals because it's very organized and the food is equally shared.
They know to come here on Wednesdays, and they see El Salvadorian volunteers helping them. In the beginning, we didn't wear our watches here and emptied our pockets before we came, but now there's no problem. They even protect us. We bond with them over the entire year. We never fail to come, like between Christmas and New Year. Even though that day was cold, giving made our spirits feel warm.
We're very grateful for the food because we're poor. You give it to us with good hearts and with a lot of love.
It's a very difficult experience, but at the same time, it's good to help people who need a lot.
Families have been trying to improve themselves in response to the help. We're looking towards the future to help even more people, to help more children, which helps the future because the children are the future of El Salvador and the future of our world.
For me, I feel good about service to our community. I'm the principal of this village school. I'm glad that Tzu Chi recently donated computers. Without it, the students here would be at a disadvantage for the future. It will benefit all the boys and girls in the village and surrounding communities greatly, so that they grow in knowledge of the current technology.
Tzu Chi El Salvador volunteers recently gave a donation of 14 new computers to the Dai Village School, as well as a scholarship to its top student, working hand in hand with community leaders and volunteers in the missions of charity, medicine, education, and culture.
My responsibility is to promote good health, visiting house to house.
See, the baby is happy with the shot. She's smiling and doesn't mind. I'm here to talk about health.
I don't have a permanent job, but you have to help yourself and not wait for others to help. Go out and earn whatever you can and maybe help other people along the way. You see people that are suffering, and if you can help, God and your heart will guide you, and it's worth it. Just like when people help you, you need to help others, and that's why you become part of a volunteer team.
I work as a leader in different committees because I enjoy serving my community. I feel very happy with all of you here. Because of the tragedy that has happened, we are more united. There's a lot of new people that have come to volunteer. We received a gift without the expectation of anything in return. But God knows of all the sacrifices we give when we help. It's better to give than to receive.
Thank you to the foundation for all the things you do. It feels like we're a family, and because you help us so much, we want to help too.
I really feel very thankful to these local volunteers. They really mindfully and thoughtfully do the work. Putting on their volunteer vests makes them feel proud and responsible, and they volunteer wholeheartedly. Personally, I'm very thankful to them.
Welcome back. Okay, Peter, so now looking back on your experiences, do you have any suggestions for our volunteers?
Sure, I think our volunteers did a very good job in general, but I think there are two professional recommendations I can think of is that the volunteers should be aware some of the effects of being a helper, such as compassion fatigue or vicarious trauma.
Great. Well, Peter, thank you for coming on board, and it was a pleasure having you.
Pleasure working with you.
In our next segment, Footprints, we introduce you to Samantha Yin and Sandia Chang, two Tzu Chi volunteers who are also dedicated to Tzu Chi's disaster relief missions. Let's go see how they have been able to apply their training and knowledge of disaster preparedness to assist others out in the disaster field.
When I came in, I didn't know what Tzu Chi is about that well, but I really liked Tzu Chi. So I consulted Sister Sandia on many occasions, and she has guided me all along. In time, we worked great as a team. For example, we went to help victims of various fires in Anahead and other locations.
The wildfires in 2006 and 2007, we went to help them, of course. It was actually really tiring. We only got 2 hours of sleep a day. Oftentimes when you see the victims, you won't feel like eating or drinking because that takes away time to help them. Actually, Sister Samantha is really funny and humorous. Whenever we encounter obstacles or challenges, she helps us overcome them with her sense of humor and reach a consensus.
Sister Sandia is very patient, nice, and she as always gives her best. I always look to her for advice, especially about Tzu Chi's principles and spirit. Master said, going into the local community is really important. So in the past 2 years, we did a lot of distribution work with the local shelters and charity groups. They all started from the disaster relief teams. Sister Sandia is now the team leader. She has a lot of expectations placed on herself. We hope she will guide Tzu Chi to greater heights.
She told me now that you are the leader, you need to be flexible in dealing with different issues. And I really need to learn and work on this part. So I'm really grateful for her guidance and reminders. She's like a guardian angel.
Disaster preparedness is actually a life skill we can all consider looking into because according to the World Bank, roughly 20% of humanitarian aid is now spent responding to disasters, and only 0.7% is spent on means to prevent or mitigate possible consequences. I'm Ginger Chang, thank you, and I'll see you next week.